Hey guys, Steven with Aquatic Pools here. Today we're going to talk about the entire process. You just bought a house, you're building a house, congratulations. Now it's time to focus on the swimming pool and your Florida lifestyle. So guys, I want to talk about what it takes to build a pool and the process. So first thing that's going to happen is usually you're going to go to a website and you're going to fill out this form right here, guys. When you guys fill out this form, we have a CRM. Now guys, the reason this is important is, for one, it lets us stay organized. It keeps track of everything. Two, sends you emails on what to expect, what kind of information we need, design ideas, all that. So as we go on site, we move it to here. And as we design the project, we move it. As we present the project, we move it. As we go to quote and closing, we move it. This is the initial process. After this, after it's sent to a designer, the designer reaches out to you, sets up an appointment, we go on site, and that's where we'll see you next. All right guys, so we're here for the on-site consultation. Now this is a very important step. For one, it's the first time we're meeting in person. Right guys, so you're getting to know us, we're building trust, a lot of times we just talk. And that translates into the pool. If you guys are party people, you're gonna want a party pool. If you guys are kids people, I personally have 2 young daughters, we're gonna want a pool with a bunch of kids features in it. So getting to know you, getting to know what you like is an important step. Also, what we're looking for is access. So we have to bring heavy machinery in your backyard. You all got fences, you all got gates. We typically look for 90 inches of access. If you don't have 90 inches of access, that's fine. We have ways around that. We can use a smaller excavator to dig the hole, or most time we get your neighbors sign off on it and we split the neighbor's yard and we come through. So access is one thing. Another thing is overhead power lines. Now this house doesn't have any overhead power lines. But you can see we got some obstacles in the way, guys. We got some oak trees here. So it's very common that we have to pull trees out when we build a pool, right? It's perfectly normal. We perform all that. It's not a problem at all. We got a paver deck here we're going to have to remove, right? That's perfectly normal. We got a playground. That playground will just be relocated. These aren't permanent structures, so that the customer will most likely relocate. But, when we're on site, we're looking for different things. We're also, one of the most important things, and this is a big cost factor too, is the elevation of your yard. Now you can see how this yard doesn't have much elevation, so this is going to be a pretty flat yard. But if you live on a hill and your backyard's like this, we're going to have to build retaining walls behind it. Let's say this pool overlapped this, and this is a perfect example, guys. Look at this right here. So this is why you put retaining walls in. Right? Retaining wall is important because they retain soil. If you don't have a retaining wall, look what it does. Look what the rainwater does. See all these tracks here? That's from the rainwater washing out, and you can see all the sand. All that sand is your backyard going in the canal or ditch. So it's very important that we pay attention to details and we look at all this stuff so you guys get a good product. If you don't get a good product, let's say we just build your deck and push dirt up against it, it's going to wash out just like this. But if we build a nice deep retaining wall to retain the soil, then you're fine. So experienced builder looks for these small details, which are a big deal in the future, because if your deck washes out, guess what? It cracks, falls in. No one likes that. Now you're paying $10,000 for somebody to fix it. Another thing is power. We're looking at where to locate your pool equipment, meaning the pump and the filter. So typically when we do that, we look at which side of the house your power is on. You can see the power is up there on the other side of the fence. So ideally we would put the pump and the filter right here. We're going to put the pool, now this backyard is big, we're going to put the pool, usually center it with the sliding glass door. So this is their living room right here, right? Center the pool over here. Now, when it comes to deep end, shallow end orientation, usually I try to orient the shallow end where you're going to hang out, right? If you're going to hang out here, I'm going to want the shallow end over here, because the girls are going to be sitting in the ledge loungers on the sun shelf, kids are going to be playing on the sun shelf. You're going to be hanging out at the barbecue grill as dad, and that's where you want everything to hang out, everybody to hang out. The deep end is just for cannonballs and all that fun stuff, that's down there. So usually when I orient these pools, I look at where the social, where you're going to hang out, and you do that. Now another thing I'm noticing here is termites. So these are, when you build a new house, you get a termite bond and you get off of your insurance. You know, it's a discount on your homeowner's insurance, and people don't want to ruin that. Well, it's fine. We take care of that. We spray under the deck. We do a termite pre-treat, so you'll still be able to maintain your termite bond at the end. Now, whole bunch of other stuff we're looking for. One, sprinklers. So sprinklers are fine. They're in every house typically. You know, we cut and cap the zones, and afterwards you can have an irrigation company relocate them. We look for septic tanks. Now this house particularly is on sewer, but if there's a septic tank over here, obviously we have to stay 5 feet away from the septic tank. You know, we can't build a pool on top of a septic tank or the drain field, so we have to pay attention to those details. So access, obstacles, septic tanks, trees, overhead lines, all that. Another thing is the height of the roof. Why is that important? Screen enclosures. You know, if your roof is 8 foot high, your screen enclosure is going to be less money than this one, which is 10 feet high. You know, so all that is important to get an accurate cost, because if a unexperienced designer comes out here and estimates it for 8 feet, and then they build it and it's 10 feet, well, guess what? You, the customer, get charged more, and you weren't expecting it. So, you know, it's important to have an experienced person in this. Now, you know, one thing I noticed about this backyard is kids' toys everywhere. So I'm going to design this pool, you know, mainly with keeping that in mind. A bunch of shallow areas for them to play in, easy access steps, you know, maybe to safeguard it. You know, we need a barrier, a child safety fence. Everything is bonded and grounded, so there's no electrical shock hazards, you know, in the pool. So I'm looking and I'm thinking these small details so something doesn't happen down the road. You know, so this is what the on-site consultation is. And we're also talking about what you want. You know, what will fit the space. I'm looking at the architectural style of the house. I'm looking at the colors of the house. I'm taking pictures, you know, so later in my design I can reference the pictures. I'm looking at the orientation of the doors, the windows. I'm looking, you know, I've noticed that they have hurricane shutters here. It's important that the hurricane shutters go on afterwards. So, you know, I'm looking at the small stuff that you're not thinking about as a customer, and it's all fine. We relocate all that stuff. You know, don't be worried if you have shutters, I can't build a pool or something like that, or I just paid a lot of money for shutters. It's fine. We move them. You know, so on-site consultation is just looking at everything and getting your thoughts and building trust with you as the customer, because again, this is the first time we're meeting. This is like going out to dinner the first time, first date. You know, most of it is just the meet and greet. All right, guys, we're in the design process. Today I'm going to show you how we're going to design a pool. Now, we use the software. A lot of advantages to this software. We used to hand draw these pools. So uploaded here, I have a survey. Now, a survey is very important to us. A couple reasons. For one, it shows the property lines. For two, it shows the dimensions of the house. 3, shows any easements. 4, it shows any setbacks. So you're only allowed to build so far from the property lines, and there's different rules for different properties. So I'm going to start with the property line. So you can see how I have the survey. I can turn this on or off. I have it as a backdrop here. And now when I go into this, I'm going to create the property line. I'm going to start with the property line. That's the property line. So now if I turn this off, you can see the property line. It's overlaid perfectly. So now let's design the house. So I'm going to use the measurements. Alright guys, so I'm going to make this one story 10 feet high. Now if you watch, this has a 3D view. Bada bing, bada boom. There's our house. We can add windows. We can add doors. So let's give this thing, everybody normally has a sliding glass door on their back porch. So we'll put an 8-foot slider right about there. So guys, this is 3D view, which is meant to show the clients. So you can see how the property line's outlined in blue. This is the back of the house, which is where we're going to build the pool. So next, I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn off the survey because I don't need that anymore. We're going to design the pool. Now this is the backyard up here. So let's say we're doing a 15 by 30 rectangle. 15 long, or 15 wide, sorry. 30 long. Now once I got that built, I can put this wherever I want. Now normally you got to stay 5 feet from a wall, so I'm going to pop a little measurement there. Put it 5 feet from the wall. We're going to abide by the setbacks. So I'm going to draw a 7.5, which is typical property line setback from there. So now I can move this according to the measurement of the house and that. So if you go to 3D now we have our pool. Right, now we can build our deck. Now guys, I'm just doing a simple pool here just to show you guys the process. Obviously some of these pools are a lot more complicated than others. I'm just doing a simple pool here. So I'm just moving these lines around to adjust it. Alright, so if we go to 3D, boom, now we get a deck. Now this is super helpful for a couple different reasons. One, if you look, there's actually shadows in this. These are real-time shadows, right? I can go to presentation mode in this thing. Exposure to sunlight is a huge thing, right? Because it's going to determine how hot or cold your pool is going to stay, right? So you can see how we think about all these little small details in the design process. So you can see the shadow, the sun's coming from this way, shadowing the pool, right? So now if I want to build steps in the pool, which is typically the next thing I would build, let's just say we want to put a 5-foot sun shelf on this. So I'm going to set the depth to 10 inches. So now we got a sun shelf. Actually, I'm going to move this to the shallow end of the pool. Put it in the deep end. So now we have a sun shelf. Alright, now we're going to build some steps. So typical pool step is 12-inch tread, which means it's 12 inches wide. So I'm going to go to 1 foot. And then I'm going to adjust the depth. So normally we do about 10 to 12-inch steps. 10 inches, 1.8. We're going to build another one. 2'6". So now you can see we got some steps in the pool and a sun shelf. And this shows you exactly what it looks like. You can go underwater. We can change all the materials. We can change all the finishes, all the tiles, everything. So now we need a deep water egress. So again, guys, I'm just doing a simple one here, just to show you the process. Alright, so now we got our deep end step. Now we can add anything we want to this, guys. So we can show you, let's say you want like a cabana or something like that. We can add anything in here, guys. We can add furniture, we can add, you know, if you guys want to see what the chairs look like in the pool, we can adjust them to however you want. Adjust the sun shelf height. We can show you guys everything. We can put people in here. There's characters. So if you want to see what it would look like to actually lay on the sun shelf, we can show you. That way it helps the proportion. You know, you can see how big or small something is. So we could add characters to it. We can add, you know, usually people do an umbrella in a sun shelf, so we can add an umbrella. Show you what it would look like with an umbrella. We can do anything you want to this, and this is very helpful because it shows you the exact product that you're getting. There's no guesses. There's no, oh, I thought it was going to look like this. Oh, I thought it was going to look like this. You guys can see exactly. I mean, you can even go inside your house and see what it would look like from your living room. What your pool will look like. I mean, this is you walking out your door, looking at your pool. Right here. So this software, guys, is hugely important to the customers for a couple reasons. I mean, it shows you what you're getting. It shows you the shadows, so how much exposure. It shows you, I mean, I can add barbecue grills. I can add kitchens. I can add, you know, I can do anything I want on this, guys. And, you know, super helpful. And then after that, we can actually make construction plans out of it. So it takes it and it can make actual construction plans out of this. So, you know, I can show all the measurements. I can sit here and put whatever measurements I want on this for the construction guys. I can put notes. I can put, you know, whatever we need to construct this pool on here. I can put all the data. You know, I could put the project info. I could put the pool info. I could put whatever we need to help our crews build this pool and build plans right off of it. Common thing we do is we put a picture of the pool. I don't have one uploaded, but I can show you the. We also put a depth profile. Now this depth profile isn't too accurate. I'm just showing you guys the process, you know, so they know exactly what we talked about. So everything we talked about, you guys can see. You guys can see in real time. You know, you guys can see the lighting, and then our construction crews can actually know what, you know, we discussed. I mean, and build it to make it reality. I mean, it even shows the step tiles. It shows, I mean, we could change the edges to round or square. We can, I mean, do anything we want with this software. I mean, we could show the different finishes. You know, we can just simply, with a click of a button, come over here and change the pool finish. Wherever it's at. Pool interiors. So if you guys want a dark blue pool, we can show you what a dark pool looks like. You know, and you can sit here and change all the steps and everything to a dark pool. You know, if you want to change the coping, which is the edge of the pool, change the coping to whatever you guys want. If you guys want a concrete coping, change it to concrete. If you guys want a paver coping, we can change it to pavers. Whatever you guys want. This software is super, super helpful in the design process. And you know, when we design these pools, you know, we can build a presentation right off of this. You know, we can build videos, we can build pictures, we can do whatever we want with this software. So it's extremely helpful, you know, and we are highly trained in the software, you know, to design these pools and be able to show you guys exactly what you were getting. So we finalized the design. We're here in the showroom for material selection. So let's talk about that. The first thing we do is we put your pool up on a TV. So every time you pick out a different material, we can put it on the pool so you can show exactly what it looks like. If you come over here, let's say I pick out this tile, 6x6, and you come over here, you pick out a specific color grout. We come over here and we click on it, and I can change the tile to exactly that tile. So come over here, slap that tile on here, go down here, grout, choose the color of grout, and you guys can see exactly what the tile looks like. So super helpful, guys, you know, in decision making. You know, you guys can see exactly what it looks like. It's very, very, very realistic. You know, and it's very important when we're picking on our materials that you touch it, that you feel it. Because when you're looking in a magazine, sometimes the lighting's off. And you think it's some kind of green hue and you get it and it's actually blue. It's very important that you touch it. You can take it out in the sun. You can walk around with it. We have spray bottles everywhere. The reason spray bottles are important, I got some decking, is when you wet them, they look different, right? Pools, everything, you know, except for the deck's going to be underwater normally. So if you walk over here, guys, we got all our premium decking. These are stone decks, coping, large format travertine. We got shell lock, which is limestone. We got slate. We got marble, all kinds of stuff, guys. We got different textures on it. We got leathered. We got sandblasted. We got regular smooth. All the options, and that's important in the decision making, guys. If you don't touch it and you don't feel it, you don't know what you're getting. You know, very, very important. You know, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tiles. You know, everything from glass to ceramic to porcelain to ledger stone, everything. that you guys can do to make it your pool. We also got magazines everywhere, to look at full selections. We got mosaics which go in the finish of the pool. You can put a reef scene, crabs, flying fish, dolphins, starfish, whatever you guys want. Totally customizable. Over here we got all the pool finishes, so this is the interiors of the pools. We always got spray bottles, like I said. I mean, if you look, when you spray these finishes, they change colors, right? It's important to have somebody that's experienced enough to tell you that, hey, that finish is going to be darker in real life once you wet it. If we sit here for 15 minutes and look at this finish, it's going to darken up once I wet it. So very, very important. That way you guys get what you want. If you don't get what you want, you're not going to be happy. Our goal, it's not my pool I'm building, it's yours. I want you to love it. And we have so many. I mean, you can't have a big enough showroom, guys. Like, honestly, I mean, our showroom's not giant, but so many different options. Sometimes people are overwhelmed, but that's okay. That's why we're here to coach you. We're here to say that's the proper material, what do you like, and coach you through the process. And then, that way when you get your pool, you're going to say, oh, it looks exactly like my dream. Exactly, thank you. It's happy. So a good showroom, a good person to coach you through it, a knowledgeable, experienced salesman is everything, guys. Someone that knows how to use that software, someone that can pick the proper materials, and everything. So this is the material selection. We take pride on don't come here for 15 minutes. You're not going to get it done in 15 minutes. This is going to be at least an hour. I mean, yesterday we sat for 3.5 hours, Joey, my designer, and me sat with a customer for 3.5 hours because she had a vision, and sometimes it takes time for us to pull the vision out of her head and translate it to her pool. But once we got it, I guarantee she's going to be 10 times happier that we sit here and we took the time to pull that vision out of her head than if we were just to go, blue, blah, 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 here's your pool, have a nice day. So material selection is a very important step in the process. All right, guys, so you just got your beautiful pool built. So for the first 30 days is what we call the startup. So when you fill a pool, city water's lime green. It turns clear like this almost instantly when we add chemicals, right? So at first, the finish is kind of blotchy. It's perfectly normal. We have to etch it. We use chemicals to etch it, such as muriatic acid. The reason we do it that way is because it's even. If you ask to wash the pool when it's dry, you get a bunch of streaks and stuff. So we like doing it when it's with water in it. So for the first 30 days, we take care of the pool. Afterwards, we also do a pool school to teach you how to do the pool, how to work it, how to work the automation, how to do the valves, how to heat the spa, how to turn the water features on. We go through it all. And just teach you the basics of pool chemistry, the basics of pool cleaning, pool maintenance, and how to operate and function. Most pools are ran by a cell phone nowadays, which is pretty normal. So, it takes some getting used to. The lighting in the pool, everything in it. So this pool is approximately 2 years old. It's already, wore in, so everything looks good on it. We're just showing it to you as an example here. But this is what to expect after your pool is built. We're here. We have a full warranty center. We can warranty anything, in the pools. We can maintenance anything in the pools. We highly suggest afterwards, one of the best things that you can do, you just spent a bunch of money on a pool, is hire a pool professional to maintain the pool after we're finished with it. It's an investment, and we see some people that try to take care of them themselves. We see them mess up every now and then, and scale is the after effect of messing up, which is a white haze on the surface, and that's the last thing we want. So congratulations on your new pool build. Well, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This should give you an outline on the entire process of designing and selecting a person to build your pool and all the materials and everything. Hopefully you guys choose us. If not, You know, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.